Alrighty, we are here in the Bauman garage. We've got Kristy's engine behind me. We tore it down, inspected it. Now that was an eBay used engine with 189,000 miles on it, supposedly. Looking at the pictures of it, everything looked intact. It had a bunch of accessories on it. I basically bought the long block. But it came with manifolds, it came with injectors, it came with AC compressor, it came with coil pack, it came with all these extra parts that I figured I'd put them in a box and I'd have them for spares in case she needed them. The problem is, between when those pictures were taken and between when I got it, the engine had been beat up pretty good. And it didn't happen on the truck because, the saran wrap that they wrapped around it was intact. There wasn't any point where something had been hit and poked through it. Everything was fine. So whoever loaded it, dropped it, beat it up, spun it over. We ended up with a broken coil pack. We ended up with a broken harmonic balancer, and that scares me. So hopefully the crank snout isn't bent, well, it's not broke, but hopefully there's no damage there. It doesn't look like there is, but we ended up with a bunch of the sensors were broken. The intake manifold was actually broken too, so which is fine. I wasn't going to use that or save it, but we did end up with a bunch of things. The throttle body, the map sensor, the throttle position sensor, all that stuff is good. It's just going to stay in one unit. It's going to go in the box. The wiring harness, they chopped it, but there's a bunch of the plugs and such I can save. AC compressor. Kristy's compressor is good. Her clutch is good. The clutch coil is bad. I actually got a junkyard coil, so we're going to be swapping it when I get the old engine out. But just in case, I've got this compressor. So, we have been working on it, but there's been a bunch of setbacks. Let me take you over here and show you some of our setbacks. So it was my intention to use Kristy's timing cover, but my father-in-law decided to go clean this one, so hell with it, we'll use this one. I'd been prying on it just a little bit, and so I was still careful with it, though. So it's good. We did find that the timing chain tensioner is hard as a rock and broken. It sits down here in this little notch, and when I pulled it out of there, it was just laying out there like that. This was $10 at the Chrysler dealer. You hear it? It's rubber. It's flexible. It sits right there. And it's done. There we are. So, take you over here. Timing chain's got about as much slack as a new one does. I mean, honestly, when I put the cam in my Wagoneer, the timing chain had more slack in that, brand new, the one I put in it. It's a little grungy. Valves are actually really clean. I guess you can't really see them. I pulled some of the rod bearings. They look brand freaking new. And they're factory. Date coated factory. I do have a new oil pump to put on it. I'm going to clean that screen out. Oh. What else? Spark plugs look good. I am going to leave this cam sensor there. I have no reason to believe it doesn't work. If it doesn't, then we'll change it. But I don't want to disturb it at all. So it's going to stay. And it's easy enough to change once it's assembled. Oil pan, I think, has a hole in it from the forklift. We're not going to worry about it. Here's my box of spare parts. So I ordered a full engine gasket set, and what they sent me, it was a Victor, which I'd prefer a Felpro, but Victor's an okay one. They sent me a headset and an extra Victor intake manifold gasket. And this is some off-brand engine check, fire seal, engine tech, I don't know. They sent me a Victor intake manifold gasket set. and they sent me this Engine Tech headset. That doesn't do me any good. I had to scramble and find a conversion set to get me all the lower end gaskets. Unfortunately, I won't be here until Saturday, and I have to be at work Saturday. Got a new water pump. I can't put the water pump on now until the timing cover's on. I can't put the timing cover on until I get the gaskets. Oil pump, that's going on right now. Belt tensioner, because the bearing on the pulley was bad. Spark plugs, those I'm going to wait on as well. So there's a setback belt, oil filter, and a oil pressure sending unit, since the one in her car is bad. And so we're going to put this timing cover on. Just, you know, the bolts will all be hand tight, and it's not going to be make sure this thing sits all the way in there. It doesn't look like it is, but it is. Just to keep the dirt out of everything. We'll put the valve cover, we'll put the oil pan on, just to keep the dirt out of everything, because we're going to use the valve cover and the oil pan off of her engine, but we're not going to start on it. This is Wednesday night. I can't do anything more with it until I get the gaskets. I've got to be 75 miles north at home Friday for work. And then Luke starts school back up Monday, so I don't know what we're going to do as far as that goes. We'll figure something out, though. But for tonight, we're going to throw this stuff on and call it a night. Okay, we're going to pull the oil pump. It's kind of one of those cheap insurance things. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with this one at all. But, you know, we won't pull it. That'll be a problem. Although, with the exception of the timing cover mounted oil pumps, like Chrysler, big blocks, AMC V8s, Buicks. Frankly, it's very rare that an oil pump is the cause of low oil pressure. It's almost always bearing clearances, things like that, oil getting past the bearings, basically leaking out of the bearings. It's always going to leak when it's supposed to leak at a measured rate. When you have wore out bearings, it's going to leak a lot faster than that, and your oil pressure goes down. So like I said, it doesn't look bad, but we're not taking any chances. Battery went dead, but I caught it. So I just threw a couple bolts in it just to hold it in place. These little dents here I'm not too concerned with. This is what I'm concerned with. Right here could be a hole. Plus this bolt has been punched in, kinda. And then along this sealing edge here, it's pretty beat up. And then, but wait, there's more. There's supposed to be a heat-proof pad that sits here, and this is some pretty deep pitting. This engine came from Jersey, so I don't know if anything good comes from Jersey, but it's definitely a lot of salt corrosion there. Okay, we're going to flip this thing back over and put the valve cover on it. Now, some more of the damage here. You see these got punched in, this got punched in, that got punched in, they're all broken. And there's some pretty heavy scale. A lot of reasons not to use it. Oh no! There's also a broken, there's two missing bolts, but one of them was actually broken off in the head. But I took a screwdriver and it turned right out, so it wasn't broken apart. It didn't require extra force to drill it and tap it in that bracket. Thank God. Boy, that heater's working good. So what I need to do after this is clean up the mess down here. I got antifreeze, I got oil, I got all kinds of caca. I don't want the wheels to track across the garage. I can't wait to have a garage. This is so nice compared to tarp sheds, muddy floors. Got a garage. It's not anywhere near as nice as this. It's not insulated at all. It's very dark. The slab is all broken. But my God, it's a garage. It's fine. I can take care of all the other stuff. Throw some pegboard on the walls, paint everything white so it'll reflect more light. Insulate it. It'll have LED lighting everywhere. I'll even have kind of a impromptu paint booth. Right over here where the camera is. Woo-hoo. Right here. Probably not a great place for it, but it'll be out of the way. We're not going to start tearing down the Jeep yet. I don't know when I'll be able to come back up and work on it. That is going to be the hard part of the job. I think more so than putting it back together, because at least I'll know how to put it back together. Again, this is why I like my old cars. It's much easier to work on. Half of the engine isn't underneath the firewall or underneath the windshield. mess here. Scrap metal parts. I gotta disassemble this intake manifold. Get all the parts I'm gonna keep off of it. DC compressor. All boring stuff that you guys probably don't care about. So, I'll be back at you in a little bit. This is that spacer plate, and this is after I straightened it out a little bit. See what they did to it. And the intake manifold, big chunk broken off of it. The sensor's broke. Sensor in the side of the block that was broke. Yep. And there we are. Everything's tucked away. Mop the floor. The heater kicks ass. So until we get the time to work on it again, this is where we're going to leave it. Right there. Along with all the new parts.